I chose computer science as a field because it's very fascinating, the way programming is done, how it's very abstract. It's kind of like doing a puzzle. You're trying to get a high-level concept and break it down to its most basic steps in order for the computer to understand it.
It's also nice because it's a tangible form of engineering. Not without too much time, you can sort of, like in my first CS class, I think we made a game. And so within probably, 6 weeks or so, you can actually see a product of what you've been working on.
It's really satisfying when I finish programming something and I get to show my friends look, that's what I made.
I could have graphics after, I could have a calculator, I could have a byproduct that I could show my friends and be proud of the time I put into it.
I really like computers. So when I applied for a major, I applied for computer science, and then after my first computer science class, I was just really hooked on computer science.
At that time, when I was a freshman, everybody was using iPhones, everybody was using Android phones. And it was obvious that this sort of computer science was the key of the language that can have impact ubiquitously, to everybody instantaneously.
You can apply CS to anything. So for example, I'm still really interested in the healthcare industry and medicine in general, but I can apply what I learned in CS to solve those issues as well. And I don't think that's something that you can do in other majors. I think that's really unique to CS.
And as the world is getting more and more digital, every company is going to need technical people because we are all shifting towards more digital, more computer-based processes.
There isn't anything else that I want to know about as much as I want to know about computer science.
Steve Jobs passed away, and that really hit me hard because I was a big fan of him. And I started looking around his videos, past interviews, and he gave this quote that computer science was like a bicycle to our minds, where it amplifies everything that we can imagine through computer science. So when I saw that, it was pretty obvious that I should really start studying into computer science and pursue this career.
Oh, there's so many.
The personal computer.
The Google car,
Graphics user interface,
Social media,
Google itself,
Mobile devices.
artificial intelligence,
object-oriented programming,
The cloud.
probably the internet.
internet.
The internet.
The internet.
It's really exciting that the internet was born right here at UCLA. It's exciting to be taking classes where, the internet first started.
It's just really an idea that we can connect two people who live across the world from each other. It seems so simple now, but it's really an amazing thing.
Food. Just the internet.
One of our many success stories is Blizzard, which is the company that has made this famous game called World of Warcraft. That game was started by 2 graduates from my department and 1 graduate from electrical engineering here at UCLA. Today it's a very successful company, and I believe between 70 and 80 million people play World of Warcraft on a regular basis.
It's basically everything that you use today. If you play video games, you use computer science. If you've ever been in a hospital, probably some of the machines you use have computer science. It's life-saving, it's in entertainment, the phones you use. It's basically everywhere.
Computer science, and I can't overstate this, is the best field to be in right now if you're looking for a job. The most recent statistics I looked at, there are 10 jobs for every graduate out there.
There are many different career paths a computer science major can take. First of all, there's massive amounts of jobs open in the software industry. And there's many big names: Google, Microsoft, Yahoo,
Apple,
Facebook, Amazon,
Dropbox,
Qualcomm,
PayPal, eBay,
Blizzard,
Oracle.
Basically, any big company you can think of needs a computer science major somewhere in there. Even companies that you don't imagine would be computer science. Say you want to work for Nike because you're into athletics, they need computer science people behind the scenes. There's no company these days that does not need someone who knows how to program software. It's just not possible, when computers are so relevant to everything that we do.
Every friend I've got has had, and including myself, internships at very prominent companies, very prominent tech companies.
Every year in January, we have an internship and job fair where companies come in. Typically, it's about 10, 15 companies, send oftentimes graduates of our departments to talk to our current students and convince them to either become interns or take a job with them. And similarly, in October, the UCLA Career Center has a similar fair where they send they bring in companies that will make the same pitch for students to go there and work or become interns.
I've heard upon graduation, everybody has at least 3 offers, you know, at least one from wherever you interned.
eBay had 25 interns last summer from UCLA. Many of them from computer science, some of them from other parts of UCLA. And they told me that 60% of them were offered a job.
I said last 2 summers I worked for Bloomberg in New York, so it's at 731 Lex. I get paid to sit on a yoga ball in the middle of Midtown Manhattan, listening to Pandora, looking out. This last summer, I'm on the 23rd floor, middle of New York City. Free coffee, free food, can't complain. But I have friends at Google up in Santa Clara. Up in the Bay. I have friends that also do their Google down in Irvine. Friends at Blizzard up in LA, Irvine, Riot, Apple.
Like the internship that I did last summer was at Symantec, and one of the professors here at UCLA is also an executive over at Symantec, and that was a great experience. One of my friends, Steven, filed a patent while he was there. He's like patent king. So yeah, you'll have classmates that have filed patents. I mean, that's pretty incredible.
When I was an intern at BMW North America doing research and development, they'd have to kick me out at the end of day. They literally would have to ask for the car keys back and say, please go home, get some sleep, come back tomorrow. But it was second nature. I wanted to be there, and no longer was it a job. Money was just an added benefit of my passion.
So the past 2 summers I interned at Google. So I think that's definitely something that you can do. And a lot of my friends have interned at the big companies like Facebook, Amazon, Microsoft. But not only that, we get a lot of startup interest as well because we are close to like the Silicon Beach. So there's definitely a startup scene happening in LA too.
Silicon Beach is right here. That's the Los Angeles startup community. And they're hiring like crazy too.
Here too in LA, there's a lot of companies. They all have branches in the LA area just because the area is so vast.
Snapchat, Palantir, Instagram, all the small companies you can think of, everything. All those companies are here and they're hiring computer science people. Like a lot of my friends have considered starting their own startups. 2 of my friends are working part-time during the school year at like startups right here, like a mile from UCLA, Originate, and like a couple of other companies. So you can work at a startup right here, you can work at a big company, you can start your own. The thing is with CS, all you need is an idea and the skills, and you can do whatever you want.
What we do when students come in here is that first we give them a solid foundation in programming. And some of the students who come in already have taken advanced placement classes in high school, and some of them have maybe not. We make sure that we bring them all up to the same level.
So coming from high school, I had 0 computer science experience. I had never programmed before. My first CS class I walked in, I was really worried because other people was like, oh, I've been programming since I was 5.
More than 50% of students who come to UCLA for computer science have never coded before. And they all learn on the fly.
Then we continue with classes on computer organization, hardware, and we move on to parallel programming and other more advanced things.
That's the computer science department's job. Their courses are great enough that after you finish, you will have learned everything you need to know.
I had a couple of friends who I just feel are genius coders. And I would say like, oh my God, I hope someday I can, code like you. And they kept saying, you will. You will. They would say, I can just do this faster because I've been doing this for a long time. But they said, just keep doing it. They said, it's just practice.
I think that we have a very good setting for being welcoming for students. So first of all engineering students take our first programming class. And so that's a place where everybody gets to know each other, and particularly the computer science students get to know each other. Second, we have a freshman seminar where what we do is that we have essentially a lineup of the best professors we have, the best speakers, and they each give one lecture about their specialty, and that way we get a broad introduction to the field, and they get an impression of what they can expect from the professors they're going to take classes from later in the curriculum. Once we get over the basic courses, then we have courses on particularly tools for working with a computer, so various kinds of operating system level tools. We have courses on design where people get to build robots and design the things that are a mix of hardware and software. And then we move on to what we consider the backbone of the courses at the third and the fourth year. We have courses on programming languages, on algorithms, on operating systems. We have eventually a course on software engineering where people can get to put everything together and work with companies. That is our capstone project. And what happens there is that companies come in, set a project, work with the students, give them feedback during the course of the quarter, and they build something that the company is interested in. And then they learn software engineering principles along the way.
It's really easy to just get focused on the code and start ignoring the human aspect of what you're learning. But make sure you meet people, you make friends in classes, you get involved in clubs. Is there something that strikes a chord within you, something that you want to focus on later in CS? But it's really easy to just graduate, get a job, and live the normal life. But if you have the potential somewhere inside you, and you can use your programming skills, combine them together and you can do something great.
Okay, in computer science specifically, I think it can be really overwhelming. I think the good thing about CS is that everyone kind of works together. Like a lot of times you're thrown into these classes where you have really hard projects, and like the only way that you're really gonna get through it is if you talk to other people. And I think that's how I made a lot of my friends in CS, just like through really late nights in people's dorms, like coding up solutions, right? And like you look at the clock and it's 3 a.m. But like if you do that for like 10 weeks at a time or even a full year, like before you know it, you're really close to these people.
I've made some incredible friends of my 20, 21-year-old classmates. I'm really excited about how genius they are. I mean, I feel like you throw a rock in any one of my classes, you're gonna hit a genius.
I've been lucky enough to join a program, the Center for Excellence in Engineering and Diversity, and they kind of welcomed us in. So it's like a tight-knit group of students who are willing to help, and they've helped put me in classes with other students that I already previously met over a summer program. So for me, it's been really easy. It's also very easy to approach people because in a new class, when everybody comes, everybody wants to make new friends because nobody really knows people. You come to university, maybe 2 or 3 people from your community college came with you, and even then they might not even be in the same major. So it's really easy to make friends as long as you're willing to just introduce yourself, say hi. Everybody's here to be friendly.
So I think the cool thing is we have this new thing called the Bomb Shelter, and it opened a couple years ago. And it's like this big food court that's adjacent to our engineering buildings, and a lot of people congregate there, to eat lunch or catch up with friends. But you can also get work done there. Like there's Wi-Fi if you need it. We also have a few different labs in the engineering buildings themselves. So if you don't have your laptop and you need to get something done, you can just log into one of the computers that we have and get stuff done there. And there's printers and everything that you need.
On the 5th floor of Boulter is the ESOC Lounge, the Engineering Society of UCLA Lounge, where it's just sort of a place that people can congregate and hang out. They're right next door to that is a C's Cafe, which is actually funny because they serve mostly cup of noodles and cheap coffee, but because there's so many people that need cup of noodles and cheap coffee at UCLA, they actually are the top-rated restaurant on Yelp in the area of UCLA.
So our cafe is ranked top 5 on Yelp for some reason, but it's definitely a place that people go to. A lot of people will go in between classes or during breaks in classes. People will go run and get a snack, hang out there. Next to it, we have this lounge that you can also work in as well. So there are a lot of different spaces on campus.
Just the community around you where those people are, ready to talk, ready to listen, ready to help you learn, ready to learn themselves from you. No one cares about how old you are or where you come from. It's all about how smart you are, or what your personality is like. That's the most important thing you have here.
6,000 students applied to our computer science program for fall 2014. We admitted between 500 and 600, and out of those, about a little more than 110 became students here this fall. And it is an amazing group. That group of 500 plus that we offered admission to, they have a median of 800 out of 800 in SAT math. They have 4.0 out of 4.0 in unweighted GPA, and they have well above 2200 in SAT score out of 2400. And so it means that one of the things we offer here is an amazing peer group of students who will come here and, as I often say, they will not only learn from the professors, they will learn from each other.
Computer science can be intimidating. A lot of people, I know like people come in and they're scared because there's some freshmen that come in who've been programming for 20 years and who can just throw on all these arbitrary acronyms that sound quite frightening. And when you're really new to the field, it's scary. You don't know what's going on. So I know like we have resources on campus to help with that. And like I know, like for example, so I'm the tutoring chair for Upsilon Pi Epsilon, it's the Computer Science Honor Society. So I mean, we have tutoring 3 days a week, which I took advantage of when I first got here.
I've gone to tutoring. I'm not ashamed to say, if you need help, there is so many resources available that both the schools provide, the professors are happy, and then the engineering honor societies as well do their own.
We actually get a lot of support from our professors. Like there's always open office hours, and TAs always have office hours, and they're always really responsive when it comes to emails, so that's great. And we also have different student groups who have like tutoring sessions that you can go to.
So I think for freshmen there are a lot of resources. So one thing we offer is tutoring in 2 different locations. So at any point during the week from 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. you can drop into a room and just get tutored on your lower division classes. I think that's super helpful. Like there are definitely people there who have taken the classes already and remember the stuff so they can help you. Also, there's a mentor system. So when you're a freshman you get paired with a mentor who's either, I think anywhere from like 1 year to 3 years older than you, and you can always email them for assistance. Like I definitely just reached out to my mentees and said like, hey, if you guys ever need anything, like help with class or even like picking classes or like career advice, like I'm more than happy to help.
All the TAs have office hours. I would highly recommend going to all of them. The instructors, I believe they'll have office hours as well, and you go to those. Your best resource is your TA and the other students.
From the international student side, we have the -U Center. They host a lot of like easing into American culture programs, and that's great for me. They also have like different programs where they pair you up with American students and help you ease into school life better.
American culture is already very prevalent, and American media is prevalent in other countries, so I knew a fair amount about American culture and expected good things. And I was rewarded. My expectations were completely correct.
I started noticing when I went on to my upper divisions that like, hey, I could be the only girl in like an entire class of 50. And that was really sad for me. So I decided to get involved with a women's group, and I chose Society of Women Engineers.
We have a Society of Women Engineers here, and I think they're really great. Like they put together a lot of events, like specifically geared towards women, like not only in CS but in tech as well. And our department is doing a really great job. So I think we kind of recognize that we definitely need to boost our numbers of girls in CS, and while it's growing, we can definitely do more.
Being a female in computer science, I'm going to embrace it. And so what if everyone turns when I ask a question in class? Hopefully it's because the question I asked was something valuable to them. It was something insightful, that I'm bringing something to the table. I'm just another student there. And if you want to think it's a big deal, so be it. But we're a shortage in this field, and I think that more girls should stick to it. And it might be harder than others, but it's going to be worth it in the end when you're making more money than your friends.
We try to be the most welcoming environment we can be for females, for students of underrepresented minorities, and everybody really. One of the things we do for females is that we support female students to go to the Grace Hopper Celebration of Women in Computing.
So the department has actually spent a lot of money to even send girls to the Grace Hopper conference.
The Grace Hopper Celebration of Women in Computing is hosted by the Anita Board group, and They hope to bring all the girls who are involved in computer science all over the world to gather and inspire one another and to just celebrate that we have so many girls who are interested in computing. We brainstorm and like innovate on ideas of how to bring more women into this field.
And you get to network with a ton of different people from all over the country and even all over the world. But I think what's cool is it's not just targeted towards college students. You have executives coming and they're speaking to you, and you can sit in any panel you want, and you can learn so much from these people. They've been in the industry for the past 20 years, and especially as girls in CS, I think it's harder to find role models that are super evident in the industry. But I think just the chance to be exposed to them and actually network with them in a more intimate setting is really rare.
It's a really engaging field. There's so many different options to do. You're on the forefront of all the technology that's happening today.
So I'd audited some classes in order to just get a foundation while I was waiting to hear if I got in. You know, as I was waiting to hear if I got in, I was just oh, please, I hope I get in. I really love this place now.
For one, it's a nice campus. It's really gorgeous.
Well, one, it's among the best computer science schools in the world.
They were ranked pretty high in their academic field for computer science, so that was a big factor.
Number two, LA, the weather. I come from India. The summers are over 100 degrees, and this was the closest I could get to home weather. I could go to New York, maybe Seattle, Chicago, but that just doesn't have the same feel as Los Angeles. You know, the sun, the shine every day.
About UCLA that I really liked, everyone I met on campus was so happy when I went and visited. I met people in the computer science department and they all loved what they did. People walking around campus, people smiled and waved to me. I didn't get that feeling from a lot of other schools.